putting everybody on notice. So if you think you're going to go out there and just kind of wheel around and I'm in the lineup, maybe he's out of the lineup. Who knows?
Well, Willie had a day off today, but will play tomorrow. So he was off for maintenance, and it would look and appear as if Domi was a placeholder for him today, because I cannot imagine Easton Cowan's coming out of the lineup tomorrow the way he played last night. That goal he scored last night was a beauty, man. Like,
that was a great goal.
A great goal. Great goal. And he needed that because he's had a lot of opportunities. He's had a lot of chances. He hasn't been able to close. And, when Werenski scored, I thought, man, that sucks for Joseph Wall because he was phenomenal last night. And it just felt typical with the way the season has played out. Like, of course they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to lose. They've been thoroughly outplayed in the third period. Of course they're going to lose. It's Columbus. It's not some juggernaut team. You're not in Colorado. But, of course, in that building, they're going to find a way to lose. And I think it was fitting Easton Cowan finds a way to tie it. And then Willie in overtime. And Willie and Berube, these two are yelling at each other every single game.
It is
every
game. And I give the coach credit because he's not just saying, well, he's going to be here longer than me, I'm just going to lay off it. He stays after him. But as far as the game last night, Brian, I just wonder what they got next in Washington, because it seemed like kind of battling and sticking with it. And let's be real here. The goaltender won them the hockey game.
Yeah.
Like, the goaltender was great. But it seemed like kind of sticking with it. It was almost like they found it so exhausting. Do you know what I mean? It was like, okay, we'll do it your way. We'll play tight. We'll finish checks. We'll get it in, get it out. Can they do that tomorrow? Can they stick with it again? Because, quite honestly, I think the goaltender stole them one. Hey, a win's a win. You're playing on the road. A team that usually owns you in their home building in the Columbus Blue Jackets for some odd reason. But we'll see what they got tomorrow night, because it's not like it was a work of art.
No, it wasn't. Like, I thought the officiating in the first period was horrendous.
Garbage.
It was pathetic. It was awful, and the Leafs got jobbed a lot. And they survived. And then the second period was kind of a low-event period. And the third period is where the Leafs have, seemingly played their best hockey this year, and it just didn't happen. Like, Columbus had chance after chance after chance, which is puzzling for a veteran team that's desperate to play that poorly in the third period. But ultimately, like we said yesterday, you just have to find 2 points to breathe. That's what they had to do last night. And credit Joseph Wall, and I guess Troy Stetcher said today he's been here for 4 games, and Wall's been the best player all 4.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a message to your best players. Like, maybe someone else could be the best player tomorrow.
Yeah, he's been the best player in all 4, but that was only his second win of the season last night, right? And I looked it up. Like, that was only the second game all year, guys, where they've allowed 1 goal against. And they haven't had a shutout. Whereas last year, they did that like 17 times.
Mm-hmm.
Stolars and Wall were the guy stealing games plenty of times last year, and it just hasn't happened as much this year. Stolars had the one against the Rangers where he allowed 1 goal against, where he had the mask knocked off and stopped the one-timer from JT Miller, and he was a big hero. But outside of last night in that game, you haven't had goaltenders kind of shining and saying, I'll put you on my back. And they need that. Let's face it. They need it, because that was a big part of who they were last year.
Yeah, the way they continue to defend and break down. And, again, the offense, like Willie, he didn't have a great night, but he ends up with 2 points. Primary assist on the Cowan goal, and then scores a beauty in overtime. And, Matthews returned, and I thought he looked okay. My sense was he was kind of uncomfortable in traffic last night. That's my concern with him, like how comfortable he's going to be with body contact. He put himself in a couple of spots where he made plays along the boards where he got hit, and I think that's a good sign considering the way he may have got injured with his Zadorov, hit or what have you. But he was okay. Wasn't great, but it's his first game back. But they're going to need him to be great.
The one thing that concerns me is the shot. It seems like the shot, and I know that he threw a couple at the net were off balance. It seems like the shot doesn't have the mustard. It's like 1 of 5 has the mustard that it used to, which is weird. I don't recall. I mean, I can recall having multiple shoulder surgeries and talking to my dad on the phone, and he was like, since shoulder surgery, there's something off your shot. But this guy hasn't had shoulder surgery, which I don't know what the hell's wrong with him or what the injury is. But it just seems like the shot doesn't have the overpower. And I know it's his first game back. But I got big expectations for that guy. Like, I have the superstar expectations where it's like, I don't care how much time you've missed. I kind of expect you to be dominant and be the best player on the ice.
He should
instead
be.
of saying,
He's
I know,
capable
I
of
know.
Wow.
I don't really want to pick apart a win too much, but you're just looking for, it's like, where did that guy go? Where is that guy? Is he going to reappear?
Well, that's the question. Like, is he capable of it anymore? Right. That's my question, because I'm with you. Like, one of the things I really look forward to about my job was going to Leafs practice in the early days of the Matthews era and watching this kid shoot pucks.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
it was something to behold. Like, just watching him practice, coming in over the blue line and snapping one of those curl and drag, absolute lasers. And I'd never seen anybody do that before. And it was like having I was lucky enough to see Tiger Woods swing a golf club in his prime. I saw Vince Carter dunk in his prime. Like, I put Matthews shooting those pucks in his prime right up there with those guys in terms of just an athletic skill that I'd never seen before. And guess what? You don't see it anymore.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I think there's a combination of two things that are happening right now in the fan base when discussing him. How much of it is just simply his body's failing him? Like the stats, we've had that, I think it was Jonas, might have been Johnny, that referenced his shot, like the velocity on his shot being down. Like year over year over year, his average, velocity on whatever shot he's getting off is way down. How much of it is simply it's just the body's failing him, and it doesn't matter what's going on around him. Best team in the league, worst team in the league, this coach, that coach, it just can't return. And how much of it is the coaching change? How much of it is Berube's here now, asking him to penalty kill, asking him to defend, asking him to play a little heavier, asking him to do different things and putting him in different spots where that explosive offense just isn't capable under the Berube system? Because I don't think either is a coincidence. I think it's probably a combination of Group A and Group B. I mean, the injuries are clear. Like last year he was hurt. This year he's been hurt. He's coming off an injury. But the year before Berube arrived, the guy scored 69 goals.
Yeah.
And now Berube's here, and it's different. Again, I think that's something that has to be considered. I'm curious how he feels about that, where things are going. That said, William Nylander has had the two best years of his career, you could argue, offensively with Berube now. The guy's scored 40 and whatever last year, 90 points. And maybe that's because Willie's like, I'm just not doing that. I'm going to keep doing Willie things, and you and I can yell at each other every single game.
I'm not buying into any kind of connection there. Like, you think that when you have the right, or not the right, but if you want, you can stay out in the power play for 2 minutes every time. You get every offensive zone face-off. You get, I don't know.
Well, but you look at it, though. You look at, like, the way Keefe used to shield him. And he'd never kill penalties, ever. And if you look at who he was up against, as a result, he got out there against second, third deep pairings more. He got out there against second, third lines more. Berube has challenged him since he arrived, saying, you're killing penalties, and if McDavid's out there, you're out there. If Barkov's out there, you're out there. He's put him in a position where it's like you got to play against the best guys.
Okay, well,
which
how
he
come
should
there
be
hasn't been
expected
some
to do
kind
great
of an
things?
adjustment to go up to the player and say, look, do we have to find some happy medium here for you to score more goals? Like, what is it? Is it less of the penalty kill? Is it less of the big time matchups? What do we have to do here? Because we're scoring plenty without your goals. Mm-hmm. So what is it that we have to do? That is a conversation that would have had to have been had.
I would think so. And wouldn't that be on Berube, though, to instigate that? Like, unless it's on Matthews, like maybe he's got enough power, he probably does, to go in and say, I don't like this. But then what kind of message does that send? I don't want to kill penalties? How do you go to a coach and say that? You're the captain of the team. I don't want to kill penalties. And I'm not speaking for him.
It wouldn't go like that. It wouldn't go like, I don't want to kill penalties. It would maybe be, let me get the last bit of the – I don't know what it would be. But the bottom line is you've got one of the most gifted goal scorers to ever play the game, and he's not scoring like that anymore. Mm-hmm. So there's got to be people sitting down trying to come up with answers on how to get it back.
Absolutely.
And to me, it's not just about the goal scoring. I mean, before he got hurt, he was on 40-plus goal pace. It wasn't like he just completely dropped off the map. But to me, it's about just general domination. Like, that was the other thing. Like, in his prime, when he won the Hart Trophy, he would command games. He would command plays. He would sweep into the zone, and teams were afraid of him. He looked dangerous at every time he touched the puck. Not seeing that as much, right? And last night, when he talked about the game last night, Matthews, he used a word that Berube himself has used, and I think it's a bit of a red flag word. I think he said something to the effect that we wanted to play a boring road game. Matthews did. And Berube has said more than once, like, our style is boring. And I'm thinking to myself, like, is that really how you want to sell your style? Like, not only to the fans who they don't care as long as you win.
They want to win.
They just want to win. But is that like, oh, dog, like if a coach says to you, yeah, I know our style's boring, guys, but we're playing it anyways. Does that excite you?
I don't know, because I played in a market for so long where we played a trap in Carolina, and it was like that was our only way to win because we didn't have enough firepower to do anything else. You know what I mean? Like we weren't scoring 4 goals or whatever it would be. It was like we had to try to win games 2-1, 3-2, and it was like we just all accepted that, and we did it. And I don't know, Peter Laviolette came in and they changed things around and they played a pressure game. They won a Stanley Cup. But as far as when we were there, and we couldn't argue with the results. We went to a final once. We watched New Jersey go to the finals all the time, playing a trap, and we were like, well, it works. You can win with it. So why not do it? We didn't care about style points. And I don't think that people in Carolina did either. I don't think they left saying, oh, man, that was so boring. As long as it was a win on the scoreboard, I don't think anybody really cared.
Well,
but I don't know. Do people in Toronto walk out and say, stylistically, I was kind of bored to death if there's a W? I don't know if they do.
Nobody cares. The fans don't care about the style if they win, but I'm wondering about the buy-in from the players, right? If you're essentially saying to the guys, yeah, good, like we're starting at boring, okay? Like you're going to work today and we are going to bore you with our game plan. I just wonder how sustainable is that, because it doesn't seem like everybody's buying in. Brad Sheelan's talked about a disconnect here. It certainly looks like, what they're trying to do and what they're doing are two different things.
Yeah, and again, you can't sell winning right now because they're not winning.
Right.
Yes, they did last night, but Joseph Woll stood on his head, and now they're in Washington tomorrow, and the Caps are coming alive. Like, the Caps had a slower start. They're alive now. That's a tough test tomorrow. All right, Johnny will join us. Mike Johnson coming up. He'll be down there calling the game tomorrow. Brandon Ingram again last night. Credit to Darko, because like watching the game, Jack was saying, call your timeout. They had call your timeout. And that's a coach's dream to put himself in the spotlight, right? Call the timeout. I get to draw up the play if it works. I'm the guy who did it. And when you're going good, man, it just works for you. And Ingram's been on fire. And like he said after the game, he had Siakam in a tough spot and obviously Pirtle got him at the rim before Ingram even got that shot off.
Yeah.
But 9 in a row. So you got the Raptors rolling, and the Jays last night decide we're just going to start the offseason here. And they signed Dylan Cease to a 7-year, $210 million deal. The reaction is hilarious, and I think it should be flattering if you're a Blue Jay fan, because the second he signed, everyone, Cease stinks, too much money. Padre fans are like, I didn't want him. Yankee fans, we didn't want him either. Cubs fans, not interested. That's actually a testament to what the Jays have created with one playoff run.
Yeah.
It's like anything you do, every other fan base is like, this guy's a boss, too much money. Listen, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of commitment. It's one of the tangible changes in sports in my lifetime is starting pitchers getting long-term deals. Never used to happen.
No.
Never used to happen. And you look at his ERA last year, not great, walks a lot of guys, gave up home runs. But this is a classic Shapiro and Atkins move. Durable arm, great stuff. And I think they deserve to be confident in the system that they've built when it comes to Pete Walker and the whole staff. If you give me durability, if you give me good stuff, we can mold it into something that's going to work. And who cares if it's a lot of money? That's a good sign. That means Rodgers and company are like, do you like him? Do you think he helps you win? Go get him. Let everyone else complain about the money.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is – I don't know what he's going to be over 7 years. In reality, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 of the 7 where you don't love it. That's just the reality of almost every starting pitcher outside of the top 5 or 6 guys. But if he's healthy and he's got A stuff, he doesn't have to be the ace. I think the hope is and the plan is that Savage grows into that, and he becomes the guy who's leading the charge. And they needed to invest in the rotation because this likely – is the end of Scherzer now, likely the end of Bassett unless he comes back in some swing position. I'm not sure how that would work. I'm not convinced Barrios and the Blue Jays have a relationship in the future that's going to work. I kind of get the impression it was pretty ugly behind the scenes, the way things ended at the end of the year. Now he's got a few years left, that decent money. I don't know what the market looks like for him. But now you set up with Gausman, you Savage, Bieber, Dylan Cease. Again, this is what they do. Gausman, he stays healthy in pitches. Barrios, he stays healthy in pitches. Bassett, healthy in pitches. Dylan Cease, healthy in pitches.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of value in that. Yes, it's not perfect stuff across the board. Yes, he'll get hit at times. Yes, he'll miss his spots. But he's got pretty nasty stuff, and he's going to be on the mound every fifth day. There's a lot of value in that.
You would hope with that amount of money there won't be too much of a molding type scenario like you just mentioned. Like, for 200 sheets, you better come in there and be good, Hayes.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not saying this is a building up from scratch scenario. That's not what like. It's not a like Robbie Ray's getting used to. Robbie Ray came out of nowhere. Yes, he had great stuff. The guy won a Cy Young. Like, no one saw that coming, where it flipped like that. But I think this is just, find the zone a little bit more. He walked a lot of guys last year. Easier said than done. But, like, really quality stuff that can step in and just improves your staff immediately. Yeah. If you're a Blue Jay fan, I think it's a great signing. I think it's a great play that the Jays said, we're not going to waste time here. We like you. We want you. We'll pay you. What's the price? Done. We're in. That's
great
a sign
for the
of a
fan
bold
base
team.
too, because the fan base is like, okay, it wasn't just a one-off, and then they're going to take 3 years off now and not care about the results. They're just kind of stacking right back up, and they want to do it again.
Exactly.
So if you, it's an expensive kind of PR move, but everybody kind of in Blue Jays land was jacked up, saying, "Oh, we got this." By the way, he was with the White Sox before the Padres, wasn't he?
Yes, earlier in his career.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, this is a great moment for Toronto. Like, think about this. Like, did you ever think you'd see the moment where the Blue Jays are dumping, Scott Boras money? This is a Scott Boras client, and they're paying top dollar. Like
seventh highest in MLB. Now, there's deferrals and stuff,
sure,
right? But it's a lot of money. They've committed a lot
to
it. It's
more than double. Like their previous, highest contract to a pitcher was Gausman at 5 years, $100 million. This is more than double that, right? So they're spending a ton of money. And this is a moment where, look, they made a ton of money on the World Series run. The tickets were outrageously expensive, but people were paying for them. And Rogers is a $20 billion market cap company in U.S. funds, which is right up there with Steve Cohen in terms of you can't really compare personal net worth to market cap, but it's a very rich entity that owns the Blue Jays. And guess what? This is a moment where you hear Hal Steinbrenner with the Yankees saying, being funny about maybe we didn't make any money.
We don't make
year.
a profit here. That's unfair to suggest that.
I wouldn't mind seeing us cut payroll. Blue Jays are looking at that saying, "Oh yeah, okay.
Go ahead."
Guess who the big boy in the AL East is right now when it comes to deep pockets?
Right.
It ain't the Yankees anymore. It certainly isn't the Red Sox, who've been very, cost averse over the past handful of years, much to the chagrin of their fans. Like, Blue Jay fans should be happy here. Like, yeah, prices have gone up. And, they're going to milk you every time you walk into that place for every dollar in your pocket. But they're spending it back on the team, and that means a lot.
If the payoff is going to a World Series, then the building's going to be full every single night. And, yeah, this is a scenario where, again, it comes down to the who cares what the viewpoint of anyone outside of Blue Jay fandom is. But there's always a sensitivity with Blue Jay fans. How do the American media respond? How do people, if the Dodgers did this, it would be, wow, what a great play. Like, that's a talent. He's one of the most sought-after free agents. Go get him and add him to your list. And that means they want to win. And I think that's what's happened here is, yes, you could have haggled. Yes, you could have waited until you got to the GM meetings or winter meetings and maybe someone else gets in there first. Obviously, a price was put forth from Boras, said anyone that can get to probably 200, 210, you can have them. And the Jays said, we like you, and we're going to pay it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to wait. We're not going to hope it drops to 190. Or 195. We're not going to.
They might have done in the past,
and they probably would have.
Yeah.
And listen, there's probably other owners out there like the Mets, maybe the Dodgers, maybe the Giants, maybe others that said we would have paid it, but we were going to wait a month, and the Jays didn't. And the Jays they're serious about business right now. And again, this guy, it's not Scooble, it's not Crochet. This is not an ace that they've acquired here, but it's a guy that is very durable. And this is what this front office has done ever since they arrived. They've been very good at picking the right guy in terms of starting pitching. Like from Gausman, who's been basically a home run, Bassett for the most part, Barrios up until down the stretch this year has been exactly what you would expect him to be. Pretty good stuff and durable. And that's what Dylan Cease is. He doesn't get hurt. Now, you knock on wood, but that's something I'm surprised the rest of baseball doesn't invest more in. Like making sure you're going to pay a little bit more money for a guy that's actually going to be available to you.
Well, that's
Actually
something that's so
pitching.
unpredictable, Hayes. What I'm curious about is what's left over as far as Bichette. Like what?
I think more than enough money. I'd be shocked if I don't think this has anything to do with whatever that Bichette number was going to be. This says to me that if
Bichette?
Well, but I think it's the opposite. Oh, this says to me what Dave's saying, that they're saying we've got the money, go.
Yeah.
And I think there's also an understanding in baseball that a salary cap might be coming. That's why Steinbrenner is saying what he's saying. I think Steinbrenner's fallen on the sword for the commissioner and the other owners.
Oh, yeah.
Which is shocking because it's the Yankees. And his dad would be rolling and be like, are you kidding me? Who cares about these other teams? We don't want a salary cap. We want to spend. But that's what I read from that Steinbrenner quote is, maybe we're not making a profit. Yeah, maybe we need a $250 million or whatever it is. And I think the Jays and probably the Dodgers and other teams are like, we might get there in a year or two, but before then, let's get crazy while we still can get crazy.
Take our advantage while we can.
Absolutely.
Look, this is a team, and I think, look, I know this guy is not an ace, Hayes, and he's not Ohtani, he's not Sasaki, he's not Juan Soto, but in all those cases, the Jays were essentially the runner-up, just like they were runner-up at the World Series this year. And here they are saying, no, we're not going to be runner-up this time. We want this guy. We're going to get this guy. I'm not comparing him to those players, and it's not winning a World Series. It's not even winning the offseason yet, although it's a pretty good start. But I think it's important. It's a statement of intent.
Yes.
It's to say, hey, we're not fooling around here. We're not just going to put that money we made in the World Series run in our pocket and laugh all the way to the bank. We're going to continue to invest in the team. And you're right, if they stop here and say, well, now we can't afford Bo, that'll be a different story. But I'm with Hayes. I don't interpret their actions in that way right now.
No, I think again it's a sign to Bichette or Tucker if that's who they're after. Like we're in it to win it, and if you sign long term, we have a plan beyond this year. Because again, Bassett's up, Scherzer's up, Gossman's going to be up after next year. Bieber likely that'll be it. He opted in for 1 year. We'll see. They need guys for 27 and 28 and 29, and that's where Dylan Cease factors in. All right, Johnny, coming up. The Packers game is over. Packers 31, Lions 24.
Uh-oh.
We've had you on the team for one pick. I told you the Packers were the play. I told you Jordan Love loves Ford Field, and you just couldn't do it.
As I mentioned, you win and you lose as a team.
Okay. We lost as a team today, and we have a pick tonight. I need you. I need you in this. I need you to be on your A game for Ravens Bengals. All right, we'll make that pick in just over half an hour. Luke is going to be on fire at 5:00. Like he is going to be on fire. But credit to the Packers, man. That's a huge win. That's a huge statement. Lions are 7-5 now. They're in trouble. And Amon-Ra St. Brown got injured today. Other injuries in the game.
So just so we're clear here, like, is he still on the team or not?
I got to talk to my other partner. Now, he may be in trouble, too. There's a chance Al's brother Blake could be on waivers as well, and someone else will be picking him up. All right, Johnny coming up, Luke coming up, more picks for the games tonight, more on the Jays and what else could be happening with them throughout the offseason. And the Raptors remain on fire. A lot going on here. Dave Feschuk in here. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 3.
the World Cup 2026 Final Draw, December 5th on TSN.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. Luke Wilson, all over the group chat already. He is just going to be all over you in half an hour. Luke's coming up. Your former partner. It's too bad. Anyway, we got more games to play. It's a long season, and I'm a team player, and I'm ecstatic to have the O-Dog and Al's brother on my team.
Yeah.
Ecstatic.
I'll stay clear from now on.
No.
Oh.
I want you heavily involved, and I want Al's brother and his moon readings heavily involved.
Is he pulling a Barrios here? Like he's not.
Possible. Or an Anthony Rendon. You see this Rendon story? This guy has mutually agreed to terminate the deal with the Angels. He made something like $265 million.
Why wouldn't he stick around for the two more years?
I think it got to a point where they were probably going to start challenging him. Like, dude, like if you show up and you're out of shape, I don't know. But he's barely played. He's played like a couple hundred games.
Incredible.
Just unbelievable run for him. World Series, $250 million, done. Doesn't want to play anymore. All right, the Leafs are in Washington tomorrow, coming off a big win. I can't imagine Wall plays tomorrow. I'd save him for Saturday night.
Would you?
I think I would after the workload last night. Here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst. Who do you think will get the start tomorrow for the Leafs?
Yeah, usually, Hayes, I would say Wall would get Friday and give Hill to be the back-to-back, but tomorrow's game's at 5 p.m., so no morning skate, a bit of a disjointed day. Even after the game ends at 8, they'll be in pit by 10 o'clock, so it won't be a late night. So I think you're right. I would probably go Wall on Saturday, Hill to be a bit of an awkward start tomorrow at 5 p.m., and I mean, at some point, obviously Wall's only going to play one of the two, but he has been incredible. He was so good against Columbus, but you just have to be mindful of not playing him too much. I know you'd want to because the other goalie is not as good as he is, but you just have to make sure he gets his rest, stays fresh, because when he's fresh, and he's right, he's been really, really good.
Johnny, you never complain about a win in the big leagues, but what did you make of it last night? We were talking about, they kind of stuck with it. The goaltender was very good, basically won them a hockey game, but what was your impression of it?
Not the most aesthetically pleasing game, AO. Like, not a lot going on out there. The Tavares line was, again, the most dangerous, the most effective. They scored the 1 5-on-5 goal late. They played their own end, probably a little bit too much, a few too many big breakdowns. Sean Monahan probably could have had 4. But if you want to focus on the positive, I think that's where Craig Berube with the glass half full business is coming from. They've gotten excellent goaltending from Joseph Wall. That is significant, and if you get that, you'll be in every game. They got pretty good penalty killing, and that is not something they have had this year. And the first period, that game could have got away from them. I didn't agree with all the calls, but they had 3 minors, and they killed them all off. That's been significant. And they got a big goal from someone not named Tavares, Nylander, Matthews, or Nyes. And it was Ethan Cowan. And Ethan Cowan is playing himself into the 5th most important forward if he's not already there. I mean, he's out there on the 5-forward power play group. And so I think that also a big goal late to tie it up. So those are some things they can build off of, and knowing that they still have more to go. But I think sometimes when you're struggling and the confidence isn't there, making the game ugly, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just hanging around, picking up points as you try to build toward whatever your best game is. But that wasn't it last night, and they'll have to be better against Washington because Washington will beat them if they give them that many chances. But there are some positives that they can build off of, knowing they also need to be better.
Yeah, the Easton Cowan conversation's an interesting one because, he breaks camp with the team. Berube's been very complimentary of him, and they sent him down, I think, in large part because he was exempt from waivers, and they wanted to give him a chance to maybe breathe a little bit. And ever since he's been up, he's been good. And I'm with you in terms of your calculation of where he is in terms of the importance ranking, but how much of that is based on his own play, earning it, and how much of it is the other guys don't do enough to fight for that 5th spot in terms of importance?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this. So I was prepping for tomorrow's game, and I know Ethan Cowan's been playing well, but I was curious to see, how well he has done. And I know he's played mostly on the top 6, but he hasn't always. He's been down in the 3rd line and 4th line at times. And I looked at, so I know you're going to love these numbers, but, his expected goal percentage, 1st on the entire team. His actual goal percentage, 2nd only to Austin Matthews on the entire team. amazingly high danger chance percentage, first on the entire team. Expected goals against per minute played, best on the team.
Ooh.
So that was my reaction. Like, what, really? Are these numbers correct? Because I don't necessarily see that. But when he's been on the ice, whether it's because his work or the work of his line mates or the work of all of them, he has been the most effective forward for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the time that he's been there. So I get what you're saying. It would be great if he was sort of challenging for a top 6 spot, but he was trying to catch someone who was really playing great. He's not doing that. But I don't want to discount how well he has played sort of on both sides of the puck with his line mates when he's been out there. He's been sneaky, very effective, and you could say, he hasn't been as prolific as the other guys, but the underlying numbers for him are as strong as there are for anyone on the entire team.
Well, what do you make of the statement, Johnny, that Berube was making by scratching Dakota Joshua, by scratching Matthias Michelli yesterday? Judging from practice today, it looks like Joshua will draw back in. Michelli still looks like he's going to be on the outside looking in. Do you think that can have an effect on this team as they move forward here in terms of just setting the tone that Berube is trying to set and has so far not had a lot of success doing so?
I mean, I think as far as the statement goes, I don't think it's this wide-ranging statement to Trey Living or I don't like my players. It's more like we got 14 NHL forwards. I'm going to put the combinations out there that I think give us the best chance of winning. I don't care who you are, when you got here, how you got here, what you make. And if that's a message that is delivered throughout the lineup and that goes to Yarncroke or Domi or McMahon or whoever, or Easton Cowan, that should be delivered loud and clear to everyone. If you don't play, we'll find someone else. We're willing to scratch you to get someone who will play better. That I think is the message he's delivering, and that should be received loud and clear. What I am curious about, though, guys, is you wonder, how Nick Robertson had a hard time sort of gaining Craig Berube's trust and his faith and his belief. And I wonder if Michelli and Robertson, while very different kind of players, stature-wise, similar, stylistic, offensive-minded guys, similar. And I wonder if Berube is thinking, I just can't have both. I can have one or the other, but I can't have both in the lineup at the same time. I wonder just with how he sees his team wanting to play, if that's going to be difficult for Michelli and Robertson to both crack the lineup unless they're scoring.
Johnny, what do you make of Willie v. Berube? Like, does this just go on every game this year where the coach just loses it on him and he just kind of shrugs it off and then scores a goal? What do you make of it?
Don't you kind of love it, though? Like,
I do, because I would find myself laughing all the time.
Yeah,
well, it would probably be me involved with it, though.
Yeah, it might be you and the coach, but I would be down the bench rooting for O to react. I'm like, give it to him, O. Don't take that. You know what I mean? And I love that Willie is, principled enough and believes whatever he's saying, that he's not going to shy away from having that conversation and having that conversation publicly and having Craig yell at him and him saying, I disagree. And that's okay. And that's okay, because you know what Craig Berube keeps doing? Put him on the ice and putting him back out there and put him in positions to go score important goals. And Willie is the kind of guy that doesn't let that stuff linger. We've admired his sort of aloofness, if we want to call it, his ability to shake things off. And that's, if that was me yelling with my coach, it would probably stick with me at least the rest of the night, if not to the next day. It's gone out of him in 10 seconds, and he's just back doing whatever it is he thinks he should be doing. So, yeah, I think we do see it. I think you'll see it in practice. You'll see it in games. You'll see it morning skates, whatever. They have talks all the time, sometimes animated, sometimes calm, sometimes sort of confrontational, sometimes jovial, but they go back and forth. And I don't think it's a bad thing. That's just how their relationship works. And Willie's, what, 5th in the league in scoring? So it's clearly working for him right now.
With Mike Johnson ahead of Leafs Caps tomorrow. So Alex Ovechkin has 11 goals on the season.
Crazy.
And he's getting hot again. Right? It seems like every night he scores now. Bit of a slower start. We were joking, like, what kind of offseason is this guy up to? What's he doing back home? Is he in shape? Is this going to be his final year? How can he be motivated now that he's caught Gretzky, now that he's scored 900? What's the next bar for him? And Washington had a slow start, and he was kind of a microcosm of the team. And now they've come alive. They started to win again. They're starting to play better. And Ovi's on pace for, 40 again?
Yeah.
Close to it. His ice time is down, as you would expect. 5-on-5, I'm sure Carberry's going to shelter him a little bit. But what can you say about this guy? And if you're the Leafs, how do you game plan against him? Because I got a feeling he'll be lurking tomorrow.
So that's just it. That's what makes him hard to game plan, is that he lurks. And, he doesn't do much. He won't see him much. He doesn't skate with him much. But then he just drifts around. The puck finds him, and he still can shoot at an elite level. And the goal he scored last night against Winnipeg, and I heard the Caps broadcaster say it correctly, he is the greatest of all time at shooting rolling pucks. It is unbelievable how well he is able to sort of corral and read it and release it and get a hold of it. And the watch I'm on now, Hayes, for him, this is my new Ovi thing, okay? First it was Gretz, then it's 900, whatever. Now he's like a golfer trying to shoot his age. He's a goal scorer trying to score his age. He's 40. Can he score 40 and become the second oldest player to shoot his age? Gordie Howe, when he was 41, scored 44. But Ovi in the modern era, if he could score 40 at the age of 40, would be like a monumental achievement. And I didn't think he'd get there. And you watch the first few weeks of the season, you're like, there's no way. Regression is coming to Washington. But they're playing better, and he's finding goals and being opportunistic. And every other week, he's got a major ceremony on the ice, and he's loving life. And he's got his kids out there in warm-up. You name it. He's having fun with it. And he's scoring goals, which is, I guess, he will do until he retires. I think that's what we have to accept. He will never not score.
Johnny, out in Edmonton, Stuart Skinner's jersey number is 74, and I think he'd like to make 74 more saves the rest of the season, if possible. Like, can they put him back in the net out there, or what the hell's going on?
So the challenge, Hero, is that, goaltending market is tricky. The guys they're talking about, if you're thinking about making a move and you're going to go get somebody, the guys who are available are generally not having great years themselves.
No kidding. And by the way, the Oilers suck defensively. Don't forget that.
The other part of it, you could put Dominic Hasek in there, and he would get goals scored against them. They suck defensively. They've been one of the worst teams in the league. So you could put Tristan Jarry or Jussi Saros or Jordan Binnington. If they are the 28th best team in high danger chances against, those goalies will get lit up. Maybe not quite to the same degree the current guys are, but enough that they'll keep losing. So they can talk about making changes to the goaltenders, but until they change the way they play, it won't matter. But sometimes, I don't know if you've ever been on a team like this with a goalie, like it gets to the point where it just gets almost untenable. It's almost better for everyone to just move along, and, you're getting Bronx cheers and you're getting media and social media and in the public. It just becomes a really sort of toxic situation. And I don't think Stuart Skinner, necessarily deserves that, even though he hasn't played well this year. But if you're trading him for Binnington and play the way they are, that is not going to change a damn thing in Edmonton. Or even Saros. Tristan Jarry, of all of them, has probably played the best this year. But if you're Pitt, you're going to trade a guy like that, you're in the playoffs. You're going to trade one of your two goaltenders who's playing well. That's also a tricky message. So I'm not sure what happens, in Edmonton, other than he has taken a lot of the heat that should be shared by the goaltenders, but also by the entire team, because you said it. They have been no good defensively.
No. Well, everyone's off today in the NHL, but back at it tomorrow. Tons of games this weekend. It's going to be a lot of turning points, a lot of twisting and turning. We've hit U.S. Thanksgiving. All right, Johnny, have a great call tomorrow. We'll do it next week.
I'm just saying this weekend is important for Toronto, because after this, they go to Florida and Carolina. Those are two really tough buildings to play in for them. They kind of need 3 points in these next two games. Because we're at the schedule coming up. It's a tough week next week. Yeah,
totally agree. Got to have it. Got to get one. All right, Johnny, we'll catch you tomorrow.
All right, boys. Happy American Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And just make all the picks for Hayes and see what you can do. Turn things around for him.
Dude, it's ugly, man.
I think I lost my...
He's on waivers, man. He might be on waivers in 15 minutes.
Healthy scratch.
Oh, my goodness.
Eye the waiver wire. Eye the waiver wire.
I will be listening.
Yeah, make sure you do. Thank you, Johnny.
All right, boys. Have a great weekend.
Mike Johnson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Get in and go where adventure takes you in a new 2025 Tacoma from Maple Toyota near Canada's Wonderland on the Maple Auto Mall. Visit mapletoyota.com. Yeah, he's right, Johnny, that Washington's coming alive. Like, they're playing well. And Hildeby, we'll see if he gets the start. It's a tough game, man. Tough game on the road. Weird timing. And then Pitt on Saturday night, you got to get that game. Pittsburgh's coming back to life. Wall will be back in there because at Carolina, at Florida. Although Florida's not playing great either.
No.
Like they lost last night too. Like they don't have much cooking.
It's just Florida.
Yes, it's the issue of like the history and who they are and what they represent to you. But Bob's not playing well right now. Like he's struggling, the team's struggling. But the Leafs, it doesn't matter who you play. You've dug yourself such a hole. You got to win. You got to accumulate points. It's that simple.
That's why it's tough to scout these games. If you're Team Canada, Team USA for the Olympics, like, how do you put value on what guys that play for the Florida Panthers are doing in November after they've been to 3 straight cups and they know they're probably going to make the playoffs, and they're just kind of going through the motions, trying to save themselves for April? I mean, it's a tough call. I know people are saying, well, Bennett's had a down year, and can you and look at Celebrini and Bedard, but it's the reigning Conn Smythe Trophy winner over there. And if you had to pick a goalie and there was a Russian team, you're telling me you wouldn't pick Bobrovsky, even though he's not playing particularly well right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
What do these games mean to the Florida Panthers?
It's a very good question. And how much are they really scouting, like, day-to-day games, and how much of it is just the larger picture of who you are? Because there's a bunch of guys who are not having great years that you think are just automatic picks.
They're
or could be. Yeah, proven. All right, Luke coming up, back into the Jays, signing Dylan Cease, and the message it sends to the rest of the AL East, the rest of the American League, and what else they could do the rest of the offseason. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 3.
World Cup 2026 Final Draw, December 5th on TSN.
Sunday on TSN 1050, your Raptors hit the road to New York to take on the Knicks.
Sit down, take that with you.
Coverage starts at 5:30 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The Raptors live here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Luke Wilson coming up. Big development in the NBA last night. The Raptors winning, and the Pistons finally lost a game. And the Raps have won 9 in a row. Brandon Ingram just continues to basically look like Kobe Bryant out there. Like, what do you think the ceiling is, Dave? Like, when does it transfer into actually they have a legitimate shot in somewhat of a watered-down Eastern Conference?
Look, man, I think they're there already. Like, you've got to be thinking about what you could do to shore up the weak spots on this roster, which are pretty obvious, right? You need a little more size because in the games they've lost, and there haven't been many of them, you know, they've lost to some of the bigger teams in the league, and you need a little better you need a little more shooting. Now, they've had really good shooting luck so far. Last night they go 5 for 26 from 3-point range and still win. But like this is a moment. Like, who had Detroit, Toronto 1-2 in the East?
Right.
You know, almost 20 games in, nobody did. But it goes to show how there's a massive opportunity here. Like, there's no super team in the East. Like,
there isn't.
Like, if Indiana could get to the finals last year representing the East, there's any number of teams that believe it could be them, and the Raptors are right in that group.
Yeah. Like,
it's a free-for-all. You might get caved in the final, but you might as well take a shot at it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's kind of what it is. Like, this is, and we keep using the Jays and the American League example, but it really does apply. Like, Oklahoma City are the Dodgers.
Yep.
That's what they are. Look at what they're doing this year. They're demolishing teams. They have one loss. They're going to just cruise to probably 65 wins. Feels that way anyway. And they got all these picks. Like, it's absurd what Presti and that team's going to do for the next handful of years. And the West has some really good – Lakers off to a really good start. Luka's been phenomenal. But
Denver's better than ever. Like, Denver's back
great.
To being a serious contender.
Yes. But that's out there.
Yep.
Where in the American League all year, we're like, there's just not any great teams. Tigers aren't – they're okay. They look okay. Yeah. Yankees are okay. All right, we'll see what Houston's got. And the Jays said, fine, we'll just take it. We'll go out and take it. And they took it. And it's the same thing in the East in the NBA right now.
And the other thing is this Raptors team has that Blue Jay vibe. Like, it may not last forever. Like, you know, we're
it's hot right now and everything's working.
But everybody's happy. Everybody seems to love each other. Everybody's sharing the ball.
Yep.
You don't see any disgruntlement. They haven't touched wood. They haven't had a lot of injuries in a league that's been decimated by injuries. They've had the RJ Barrett one.
We were talking about it yesterday. At least Ingram looks like it's going to work out, as opposed to everything in the past has been the guy gets up here, he's injured, not interested, and it just kind of fizzles out. It looks amazing.
Yeah. He's taken on a leadership role. Like, he's been a prominent player and they're winning, but he's talking every single day, every night. He's saying all the right things. Like, it's been a really impressive introduction.
And you know,
really impressive.
It's like, in some ways, it's like these guys. The only way, the reason you pump the brakes is because, let's face it, they basically took last year off. Like, these guys barely, he didn't play basketball at all.
When they acquired him, they were never going to play him.
They've got a renewed enthusiasm that maybe a lot of the teams that have actually been playing hard don't. And it may not last. We'll see how it's holding up in April.
Right.
But it's a great start, man. And there's every reason to believe that this East is going to stay wide open for many months to come.
Yeah. 9 wins in a row for the Raptors. Very, very, very impressive stuff. All right, Luke's coming up. Luke Wilson, we're tracking the Chiefs and the Cowboys. The Packers won earlier this afternoon. What does that mean for the NFC North? We'll get into that. Back into the Jays making noise last night. Leafs back in action tomorrow. Overdrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Wait, are these all Big Brother? We hope to haunt these teams in their nightmares. Go!
The Amazing Race, all new Wednesday on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
FIFA World Cup 2026 Final Draw, December 5th on TSN.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Dave Feschuk. We're up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. I'm sure the comments are being very kind to the O-Dog today. Very kind.
Oh, yeah.
To my partner. And I won't stand for any disparaging comments. None. Because as a leader, you win together and you lose together, Dave. I've always said that. I've always lived by that code. So I couldn't be happier to have him a part of the crew, and Al's brother, who's always been great.
My boys up north. My boys are up north watching. Shuey and Foss, the boys that run the funeral home up there in Collingwood, and they said we would have made the exact same pick.
Well, that's very fitting.
Okay.
That's great. It's good to hear that those two
nice.
guys would have taken the Lions. That's very comforting. I thought you were going to say I just talked to Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, but
no,
Shuey and Foz. You know, driving around the hearse up there, love the Lions. Okay, well, anyway, Packers won today. We'll get to that momentarily. Leafs are coming off a win. The Habs got a win. How about Ottawa last night? They've won now 3 of 4 on this really tough road trip through California, in Vegas last night, won in a shootout last night. And
maybe Noodles was right. Maybe they don't need to add. But I'm telling you, I just think if they could take a shot this year and say our goaltender's legit and they play really tight and they can – because what happens is they'll if it doesn't work out, they'll be like, we just needed that one goal, that one guy to score a goal. So if you can add a good player, man, why not? And just say, we're for real and we're going to make a run. I think it would be great for the team.
They look great.
They look
Ottawa's
great,
been
man.
really good. Ottawa's been really good.
Allmark was great last night, but you look at it like they've got pretty bad goaltending too, just in terms of like they're 28th in team save percentage. So as much as you talk about Edmonton's 32nd, of course, nobody's as bad as Edmonton. But none of the Canadian teams outside of Winnipeg and Calgary have top half of the league goaltending right now.
Which Calgary is shocking because Wolf got torched again last night.
Yeah.
Got pulled again. Like Tampa is rolling, man. And Vasilevsky's rolling. And Winnipeg is starting to scare me, I got to be honest.
Yeah.
Like they lost again last night, and they were chasing the game. And
They haven't won a
Hellebuck's
game
out.
since their goaltender went out, no?
Yeah, that's scary, man. Like they're out of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, there's
And
one team.
Colorado won again last night. So Colorado keeps going. Dallas is going to keep going. You know, like it's early, but Winnipeg is not in the clear. We love Winnipeg, our second home. We love Winnipeg. Really, ever since you walked into Winnipeg, they've lost. Ever since you've been there,
dude.
Ever since
so I'm the cooler now.
I'm worried that you're the Beansy of basically pro sports right now.
Dave, how many Canadian teams did you say are in the playoffs right now?
I think it's one right now.
Ottawa's the only team.
Montreal right there.
won last night.
But I think they're technically by tiebreaker, they're not in it.
Let me take a quick look before we get to a guy who has a new lease on life. Technically, Montreal is not in the playoffs right now. Technically, Winnipeg is behind Edmonton. Now they got 3 games in hand. Yeah, there is one Canadian team. If the playoffs were starting tonight, again, it's unfair to do that because everyone's played different amount of games and point percentages and all that. One team in the playoffs, and it's Ottawa. 6 of the 7, and a bunch of them are swimming. Like the Leafs are swimming, Edmonton's swimming, Winnipeg's not in a good place. Calgary's a disaster. Vancouver's not much better. They won last night, but yikes, not good.
No,
not good. All right, so Noodles is, I believe, on his way to St. Louis right now, and he must be feeling great, right? Noodles got to be feeling great.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is, I believe, the president of football operations for, what's this?
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Yeah, for Noodles' son. Noodles' son, which I'm not sure I love that name, I got to be honest.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
There
Oh,
he
dog,
is.
I almost called you parts. I almost called. I can't get over that you would make that sign. I can't get over it.
Dude. It's my new life now, Parts. Sorry I said that. Sorry I said that.
Who
Sorry
are you talking to? When you say Parts, you're talking to me, right?
That's exactly who I'm talking to, you.
Oh, man. How about those Green Bay Packers, Luke? How about them Green Bay Packers? And, man, did Micah Parsons make an announcement to the world that he's here and he's ready to play this afternoon.
He was unbelievable, Hayes. And I'll say this. I also thought he was wildly disruptive in the run game. And if you remember beginning of the year, and I was on this train myself, I got to own up to it, where I'm like, yeah, he's not the most stout run defender. And he slipped a lot of blocks, caused a lot of havoc. I mean, big plays when it mattered. If you're Green Bay right now and it's such a pivotal game, you're in that front office, you kind of sit there and say, this is why we went out and got him. I mean, this obviously, you look at the Lions now, they're kind of on the outside looking in playoff-wise. Now, I do think there's a world where they still get there. Look at that. Xavier Worthy just took off. I got the game behind me here. I'm just making sure we cover the spread.
Yeah, I got
a nice long reverse. But I thought it was overall an incredible performance by Micah and by Green Bay. And I'll say this, Hayes, and you're a Green Bay guy. You know this. They've had a hard time at moments of winning the big one when it's close. I hated the call to go for it on fourth down to clinch the game there. But what a throw and catch by Love and Wicks there. I was like, holy smokes. So Green Bay right now, times are good.
They are. Man. That defense has been explosive. I think you pointed that out. Stopping the run's been a huge issue for them for years. And like the first time Campbell went for it on 4th and 3rd, he runs Gibbs up the middle and he just got stuffed. He lost yardage on that play. Yeah. And then obviously later Williams drops that ball that he had to have on 4th and short later in the game. But I think the run defense significant, Parsons significant, and what I think LaFleur, I like that he had that attitude and that approach because he has been getting called out for being far too conservative this year, like way too conservative with his play calling, and that's a ballsy play. That's a Dan Campbell play. Like we're just going to win the game right now. Like just call a play, snap it on 4th down, and they executed.
I'll tell you this, though, Hayes, the one thing I would disagree with is that Dan Campbell's never had a defense as good as the Packers have right now. And granted, the Packers had looked susceptible at times today, but Micah was rolling. And my thought is like you pin him inside the 10, they have no timeouts, and you say, Micah, go make another play. But again, it was really risky, but it paid off, you know? So I'm excited for Green Bay right now. I'll say this too. I thought this was because they've been a bit up and down on offense. And I thought this was the most consistent Jordan Love has looked. Let's put it that way.
He's been good recently, man. He's starting to cook a little bit. And like Watson healthy is, I think, significant, right? They're getting some pieces back. Jacobs played today. They've got kind of a two-headed monster in terms of running backs. Wilson's been good. So, yeah, I mean, I look at the NFC North, and I understand Chicago's still technically in the driver's seat, and they got Philly tomorrow. But this felt like a big statement. Like, this felt like Green Bay basically putting their stake in the ground, saying, we're taking this division. And I'd put money on them doing it now.
And honestly, if you look at Chicago's schedule, I was kind of going through this afterwards, but it's an absolute bear. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. They're going to have to really win some games because they have, of the three of them, in my opinion, the toughest schedule by far.
Well, I got Green Bay
Philly,
twice,
like
too,
you said,
right?
Green Bay twice, and then they end at San Fran and versus Detroit. Your only game in there that's, I wouldn't even say a gimme, but is easier is Cleveland. So it's like Philly, Green Bay twice, San Fran, and Detroit. I hate to say this, Bears fans, but I'm not sure I like them, and I don't care what the spread says any of these. I'm not sure I like them winning any of those games.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And the spread will be applied when we get to those picks momentarily because you and Noodles will be on the clock for that game tomorrow afternoon.
It's going to be tough to hear that. It's going to be very tough to hear that. But
be honest with me. You're not.
Look at
this
Mahomes.
Isn't some
Look at
big
Mahomes
jam
right
job.
now.
I know Mahomes looks phenomenal.
Look at this guy.
Like you're not a mole coming over here to ruin the mojo between Al's brother and I. Then you're going to flip back
let
to
me
Luke.
Let me make a
like,
small
is that what's
statement
happening
here.
right now?
Parts, let me ask you this.
Parts.
I mean, former
Parts.
I was talking
Scary,
to you by
man. Scary.
Luke, let me ask you this.
Yes.
That last game, would you have picked the Lions or no?
No, not at all. I would have taken Green Bay.
Come on, dude.
Let me say this. I spoke with Noodles, who, by the way, is absolutely, like you said, the president of operation around here. We needed a new culture. I was told that my former parts had been consistently dragging me quite a bit as Kareem Hunt gets extra yards in the ground right now as we're going on to cover this spread. Okay, we had a bad culture, and that's what was equating to the losses. Okay, I think I'm a little behind you. I don't like that face you made right there.
No,
but I'll
he
say
fumbled,
this.
but it was out of bounds. Out of bounds, all good. Still possession, Kansas City in the red zone. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll say this. I talked to Noodles, and we both were kind of on the same vibe that O-Dog's a bit like a floating bag right now. Wherever the wind blows him, he just goes over there. He jumped off the ship, and now he's on the other team. This isn't the first time. You picked up a floating bag. Pace?
I called him Billy Zane from Titanic yesterday. It was a sinking ship, man, and he was running over women and children to get over here to Hazenbro, and it's kind of a concerning characteristic. I got to be honest, but he's my partsy now, so I got to love him.
Or is he?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll see. It could be back.
It's
on
only been
waivers
one
at
game.
some point.
Noodleson has a long way to go. Way to go, but it would help if we could get this one. And then you guys got the spread tonight's tough.
It's a tough spread
tonight's tough
man.
because you just don't know who you're going to get with Joe Burrow coming back.
Well, let's start with that. I mean, Burrow is returning. It's not a short week for him because he hasn't played in a couple of months. Are you surprised at all that he is playing, that they wouldn't shut him down for the year? Like, the Bengals aren't going anywhere. He's been kind of a Band-Aid throughout his career, but he's going to play tonight and presumably the rest of the season.
Absolutely not. And he said in his interview, Hayes, where it's like, listen, if he's healthy enough to play, he plays. This is your main guy. This is called being a pro athlete here. You don't say, oh, the team sucks, so I'm going to stay healthy. It's like you're the captain of this team. You make all the money. You go out there and you ball out if you're healthy. It's plain and simple to me. All the other narratives are like, don't want him to get hurt. Don't let him get hurt for what?
Well, I guess for your future, you're 3-8. You stink. I mean, they're not going to.
He can get hurt any time.
Do you think he ever returns to greatness, Luke? Like
Kelsey Tutty, boys. Kelsey Tutty.
Yeah, 14-7 Chiefs. It's early. Backdoor cover.
Yeah.
Screams it.
Sorry about that. I'm a little behind.
Just completely disrespectful to your former partner. Just chewing on it.
The floating bag. He's the floating bag.
Floating bag.
Do I think the wind's blowing him away?
Yeah, I know. I know.
So here, the question is, do I think Burrow will be healthy? I think, and I'm not trying to throw you guys off tonight, I think Burrow comes out here tonight and throws for 330 yards. I'm not joking. Without T. Higgins. I think he comes out here tonight and throws for 330 right on this Baltimore defense's head.
That's completely
you look at Hayes.
disingenuous.
Look at him. Oh.
That's completely disingenuous.
Hey, parts, dude. What are you guys going to pick tonight, man? Burrow's coming out throwing for 330 tonight.
I do think Jamar Chase is going to have a chip on his shoulder, though, right? Like, he's coming off a suspension, and, he issued an apology, and we'll see what he's got in store.
Do you think he actually cares about that?
Jamar Chase?
Yes.
The fact that I don't know. You could speak to it, Luke. Like, that's as disrespectful as you can get what he did. Like you spit on a guy. It's, trouble.
This is what I would say, too, though. I would say, as much as you want to say, oh, it's X amount of million, he's making $1 million. Like, when you get a whole game check taken away, which is, I believe, what happens with suspension, that is not a fun feeling. Like, especially for him, that is an ungodly amount of money. So I'm sure that he does care about it, one, for the rep, but more so for the cash. I don't have his exact game-by-game salary, but he lost a lot of cash by doing that. That's an expensive spit.
Yes. Very significant. Lots of money.
God.
Look at these two guys.
O-Dog.
Look at these two guys.
Dude. I can't wait till Noodles is back.
Yeah.
This is kind of...
Al's brother.
Oh, it's like old times. It feels great to be back on the same team, doesn't it?
It does.
Feel great?
Remember Al Dog? You remember how awesome Al Dog was?
Oh,
God,
the vibes were immaculate.
You were so bad at picking games, though. That's my concern, man. You guys, it's just a weird mojo.
Really
Dave, I got to be honest. It's a weird mojo. It's uncomfortable. It's a two-man bobsled. We got the O-Dog laying on top of us.
It's a difficult management job. Whoever is managing this team has got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Al's brother, where do you stand on things? I mean, you were pushing the Lions, too. You like that moon, right? The waxing crescent or whatever it was that you referenced earlier this afternoon.
You know what? The moon got us. The moon got us, and I'll take that. I don't want to put that one on O. So I think we do deserve to give him another chance here, because that's on me. That's my bad. Going into today, when the moon rating is in the current phase, which it was, the Lions are 3-0 on Thanksgiving. So I just, the trend suggested that they were going to win and cover the number again. And, if it wasn't for that phantom late timeout call that, ended up in another touchdown, who knows how this game turns out.
Listen to this guy.
We're probably
this is your
up
partner.
2 touchdowns. But.
Excuses already. Wasn't for phantom timeouts. This is what you become, O-Dog. Listen to this guy,
I consider
man.
it brilliance. Go ahead, Al's brother. No more interruptions.
Well, listen, now we're going to be sweating this Chiefs game now. Like, Chiefs, it's early, but Chiefs are up. Like, their offense looks like they're chugging, man. And that's the problem. Like, this Cowboy defense cannot stop anything. No. And you get Mahomes on turf in a game like this where they're starting to cook and start to chug a little bit with health. It's concerning. But as for the game tonight, it's Ravens -7.5. It's a goofy line. I don't like it. I don't love the feeling of it. But I'm sure you have some tremendous information, so please supply us. Where does your head go first with Ravens-Bengals tonight?
Yeah, I mean, well, you just look at what our process has been over the course of the year, and it's been pretty successful, Hayes. I mean, short week, divisional game, big number. Typically that screams you take the dog. Mm-hmm. But I think we got to throw all that out the window for this one, fellas. I really do. I think we got to throw it all out the window. I was reading an article today. The Cincinnati Bengals statistically have had the worst defense in NFL history, not just this season, but in NFL history in terms of DVOA. It has been atrociously bad. They're giving up 32 points per game. They give up like 6.5 yards per play. It has not been great for Lamar in this offense lately. They have not really looked at the MVP self, Lamar, but I think this is a get-right game. That's the thing for me. This is a get-right game. I think they put up 35 to 40 points potentially, and I just don't see Joe Burrow going out there and putting up 330, Luke. I mean, the guys have played football in 2 months. He doesn't have T. Higgins. I think that that offensive line, it's terrible. It's trash. Mm-hmm. It has been. It always will be. I think that defense, which has been humming lately, they've given up an average of 13 points in their last 5 games. They'll stifle that offense, and I think they'll be able to put up enough points themselves. So I think 7.5, it's a bit of a goofy number. It seems like the books are trying to get you to bite on the Bengals as dogs, but we're not doing that. I think we should lay the points here, fellas, and take the Ravens and fly with the flock.
Wow.
Pretty compelling,
wow.
Fast Track?
No, I'm all in with that one.
Al's brother, here's what I'm worried about. Like, is Lamar Jackson still that guy? Like, you look at, he's not using the legs like he used to. He's career low rushing yards per game. I mean, this is he's coming off of finishing second in the MVP voting, but he hasn't seemed to my eye, as the same dominant force.
No, he hasn't, to be completely fair. You look at the rushing totals in general, and they're quite low. I think he ran for like 10 yards or something like that a couple weeks ago. But like I said, this is a time for this offense to get right. He has dealt with injuries all season long, so he's clearly playing through things, whether it's an ankle, a hamstring. He's playing through some stuff that's definitely held him back from being his MVP self. But look, Derrick Henry is still Derrick Henry. They still have weapons out there. And when this defense is as bad as it is, there's no Trey Hendrickson either to put pressure on these guys. He should be able to sit back in the pocket, make some passes. They should be able to run the football down the throats of this team and still be able to put up numbers without him looking like an MVP.
Yeah, King Henry, I think, he's starting to, he gets alive, man, as you get later in the season.
You know how cold it is right now?
Exactly.
How cold it is outside?
Love it.
He's coming.
Love it.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming, and he's a White Walker. He absolutely is, and he's ready for it. And listen, this is a big weekend. It's a pivotal swing. The Steelers have got the Bills on Sunday, and, the Steelers are falling off. The Ravens have a chance to take a kind of a stranglehold in the AFC North. And I tend to agree with what you're saying. This line is trying to sneak people into taking the points here. And I think Lamar gets going. I think this defense holds Burrow and company to, some reasonable stats and reasonable numbers. I think we're locking in the Ravens tonight. It's a big number. But it's at home Thursday night, primetime. Ravens.
Okay.
HBO's on the Ravens.
Look at him. He feels
Flying
sick
with the
about
flock.
it. Hayes, I know you feel sick about it, dude.
Listen,
You feel sick about it.
Short week, divisional game, big number. It goes against a lot of my instincts, but I like where my partners' heads are at. I like where both of my partners are at right now.
When a team is as bad as the Cincinnati Bengals have been, you kind of got to throw logic out the window and just sit there and say, this is a crap team, and I don't want to be on them tonight. And that's kind of where we're at with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
And look, this team has a lot to prove, the Baltimore Ravens. You know, I was on the morning show today, and we were talking with Ed Werder, and he said, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender anymore. They can go out, make a statement tonight, and if they can do that, blow this team out, people will be talking about them being contenders in the AFC again.
Okay, I like that. All right, Luke. Well, you I don't know where Noodles is. He's somewhere in the Midwest right now. I hope you've chatted with him.
Well, he's
because you're on
recruiting.
Eagles
He's
Bears.
recruiting. We're bringing
He's
in another
recruiting?
personality. We're bringing in another teammate.
Okay,
Don't worry.
I like
we
that
got
idea.
options.
Well, Eagles -7 against the Bears tomorrow. You guys are on this game. Kickoff at 3, so it's prior to us getting on the air tomorrow. Go ahead. Make
It's
your pick.
-7? I thought it was
Yes.
6.5. You sure about that? Is
No.
Doogie?
Doogie just locked it in at 7. Officially locked.
I'm going on the
Officially.
phone right now to check this.
Go ahead.
I'm making
That's
sure.
a key number. That's
ahead.
a key
You can
number.
do it.
Yeah.
Now you're stalling
We're
for
taking
that
the-
line to move.
We're taking the Eagles. We're taking the Eagles -7.
Woo.
I like the response.
Man.
Oh, it's all right.
Go
Listen,
ahead.
I like the response. I like the response after a bad week last week. Kind of a get-right moment. I also think Caleb Williams is due for some turnovers. There's a nice little fourth down conversion for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
love
think that
this,
there'll be
this
a lot
Cowboy
of
offense, man.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Last week, Vic Fangio's defense, you guys know I'm a big Vic Fangio guy, really held Dallas at bay until they were on the field forever. You know, and this Cowboy offense is special. Caleb Williams is bound to make some mistakes. I think the Eagles get right here. I like them to cover the spread. I think they get after them.
Okay. You're locking in Eagles -7 tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a big spread, man. There's a lot of weird mojo in Philly right now. Like, really weird
I agree.
mojo. It's a big statement game
They
for
can't
Chicago,
score in the
too.
second half.
Yeah, well, and now there's internal fight, like rumors that guys internally are kind of hating on Jalen Hurts or questioning where he's at and the way he's playing. So it's got the chance for him to shut a lot of people up. But this is the biggest game the Bears have played in a decade or close to it.
Yeah.
In the last 4 or 5 years for sure. Like, this is a big, meaningful, like, you have prime time, you're under the lights, the whole country, the whole world's watching you type game. Ben Johnson can make a statement. Caleb Williams can make a statement. That defense can't tomorrow. I don't mind taking 7 points tomorrow. I got to be honest. I think the Eagles will win, but I see 24-21 Eagles. I love
You
getting
guys got to worry
24.
about tonight. You got to worry about tonight. That's what
we'll
I
be
would
fine.
say.
We'll be fine. I think the Cowboys cover here, backdoor, and I love Ravens big tonight.
You better hope they
Yes.
keep pace, boys. You better
They
hope
will.
the Dak don't have another pick. You
No,
better
I love
hope,
this.
Hayes.
Aubrey stepping up, field goals, very smart. Schottenheimer, very conservative. Love that play. Love that play. All right, Luke, Al's brother.
All
Great
right.
seeing you, Al's brother, as always. Absolutely great seeing you. Luke, good luck with
Thanks,
Noodles.
boys.
Good luck with Noodles, son. You guys need to start picking some winners. All right, boys. We'll catch
We
you guys
will.
tomorrow. There they are.
Talk soon.
Luke
Flying with the
Wilson,
flock,
Al's
fellas.
brother, we're flying with the flock.
All right.
You like that, Dave?
I'd go the other way.
Would you?
I just had
That's concerning.
Look, Derrick Henry. I agree with you. Like, it's apparently going to be freezing in Baltimore tonight. Like, like +4 or 5, and that does seem to bode well for Derrick Henry. But I feel like when we came into this season, I remember how many times were we on this show talking to people that know a lot more about the NFL than I do, saying the Ravens are the best team. The Ravens are
Everyone
the Super
picked
Bowl
them.
favorite.
Yep.
They've shown nothing of the sort.
No, they
Like,
haven't.
and Lamar Jackson for me is the main reason why. Like, he's just not the explosive Lamar Jackson that we're used to seeing, and I can't pick him when I'm seeing that.
Yeah, he's clearly injured. Like, he missed a lot of time, and then they got into the bye week, and they have won in spite of him the last couple of weeks. It's not that he's turning the ball over necessarily. He just is not explosive at all. And it changes the whole dynamic if you know he can't run.
Yeah.
Clearly, because he's terrifying for defenses. If you don't put a spy on him, you're in big trouble. But now you don't have to do that.
Exactly.
If you don't think he's going to take off, you can play a very different coverage and, apply a different defense to him. Anyway, HBO is on the Ravens tonight, and Noodles' son. I got to get used to these names. I don't love them, I'll be honest. But we'll see what happens after a week or two. They're on the Eagles tomorrow, laying the points. All right, we'll come back. Leafs back in action tomorrow. Wraps off a big win, and the Jays making the statement of the offseason so far. Could they make more statements as we move forward? We'll get back into that as well. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on TSN 3.
FIFA World Cup 2026 Final Draw, December 5th on TSN.
Tonight on TSN 1050, Joe Burrow makes his return for the Bengals in Baltimore against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, we'll get to our best bets later in the hour. I think it's a pretty positive day in Toronto today. Raptors win, Leafs win. Dylan Cease signed a long-term deal with the Blue Jays, pending a physical. But no reason to believe that won't happen. Uber positive Thursday.
I think it's great.
How could it not be?
I think it's amazing that the Jays are spending like crazy and the Yankees are crying poor, man. Like, I don't know, man. I never thought I'd see that happen.
Yeah, that really, it's like it used to be in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Or
Talk
late
to
80s.
JP Ricciardi if he ever thought that would happen.
No kidding.
JP, God love him. Like he to this day, if he comes on this station, he complains about the fact that the Jays never spent money when he was the GM and he was going against the Yankees and the Red Sox who did nothing but spend money.
Right.
And, it was the big league AL East and it was the evil empire in New York and the very rich Red Sox going.
That's where they had. Those are the days where they had zero chance. They were just putting out a lineup, and it was like. That's why it was like the Yankees and the Red Sox, 1 or 2, and then it was the Jays had no chance, and there was always Tampa Bay, who was creeping up there, and they kind of made some hay after that, and the Jays were just right in the bottom with Baltimore.
Yeah. And listen, this is not surprising. If you look over the history of Shapiro and Atkins, this is what they've always done. They've invested in starting pitching. It's their priority. It's what they prioritize, and they believe in it, and they understand why. It's a reasonable philosophy. To get you through a regular season and get to the playoffs, you need starting pitching to do it. And they've hit on a lot, and they missed on some, right? Like they missed. Hyunjin Ryu had a really good start, then got injured, faded. Tanner Roark was a disaster. Yeah. You can look at a couple of others, but they have continuously gone back to the well, and I think they have a type. They have it like Dylan Cease falls in line with the Barrios, Gosman, Bassett, all different guys, different stuff. But the point being is very, very healthy, very reliable, going to give you 30-plus starts, good stuff. And I think they have a reason, like I said earlier, to be very confident, bordering on arrogant, that they have some sort of pitching philosophy with Pete Walker and whatever staff they have there to be able to get the best out of guys, because Cease – he had a really good year a few years ago, off the charts good. Since then, his numbers were not great last year. If you look at just conventional stats, they were not that positive.
No.
But he strikes out a lot of guys. And, the defense in San Diego was not very good, and that's obviously what they're banking on here. They had very good defense in Toronto this year.
He didn't have a great ERA, but he had a really good expected ERA.
Yes, exactly. What was expected based on, what you would expect out of decent fielding, his numbers would have been much better. And, yes, it's a big commitment, but who cares? You're not paying it. And as long as it doesn't have an effect on any other portion of the payroll, I think this is uber positive because, again, they just handed Vladdy – the last 2 signings they've made have been the 2 biggest they've ever made.
Yeah.
They gave Vladdy over $500 million, and then they just gave Dylan Cease $210 million. They've never done that before.
No.
And as I said earlier, I think this is a sign to Bichette, maybe Kyle Tucker. I don't know if Tucker makes sense. But that they're not going to slow down. They got a taste of it. They're in the 11th inning, Game 7 World Series. If that's not going to push you to continue to be aggressive and feel like you're real close to winning, what is possibly ever going to push you to do that?
Yeah, right. Keep in mind, Hayes, just because you feel the mentality of being all in, it doesn't mean it guarantees success.
Absolutely not.
But you're just putting it out there that's the objective, and that's where you want to get back to.
Yes, exactly. They could, and they still might, go out and try to find a project and build him back up. That's basically what they did with Robbie Ray, and he won a Cy Young for him. Go find a guy, decent stuff. They had to invest a lot here. They paid a ton of money to Dylan Cease. But
yeah, and he's turning 30 next month.
Yes, not a young guy.
The age
There's
35,
a window here.
30, the age 35, 36, 37 years there at $30 million per may not look particularly pretty.
Yeah.
They don't care about that.
But they don't care about that. I'm with you. And they should, no doubt. They should.
No.
They literally are. If they are one of the richest owners in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Like,
and every general manager says, or anybody involved with these types of transactions, these guys have already been here for a decade. 7 years from now, they're like, that's not even going to be our problem.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Not even close.
Well, and listen, they're going to deal with other guys. Like, we'll see what happens with him, where he fits in line, where he sits here. He's still owed a lot of money for a few years. That hasn't stopped them from going out there and doing this. So that's what you have to bank on. If in 4 or 5 years Cease falls off, which very well could happen, push him down the rotation.
Hey, you can't have enough pitching.
Pay him that money to be your 5th starter. So be it.
Every plan you can have. You think about last season, the opening day starter was Jose Barrios.
Yeah.
Right? The idea that Jose Barrios would not be in the picture in the playoffs and a guy named Trey Yesavage, who nobody outside of the hardcore prospect pool guys really had heard of, would be a central figure. You could have never planned that.
Who do you think gets the ball opening day this season?
Kevin Gausman.
Well,
not even a question.
I mean, I think it'll be up for grabs. Who's
it's either him or Yesavage, I would think. Like, I don't think they'll step in and Cease immediately gets it because he got the big ticket and he's the big prize.
It might be Yesavage.
Yeah, I could see Yesavage, if he has a great spring training, I
don't think Kevin Gausman would raise an eyebrow at that? Like, hey, come on a sec here.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I mean, listen, again, like Dave just said, he didn't get the ball opening day this year, or I don't think the year, but he has had an opening day start for the Jays.
By the way,
who
did get the start?
Barrios.
This year?
Yes, it was Barrios opening day. It was Barrios. And like Gausman was hurt coming out of spring training, right? He wasn't available to them opening day. But, yeah, I mean, I think Gausman, Yesavage, it doesn't ultimately matter that much.
It doesn't matter, but it just goes to show you.
They have
the guy
options.
you sort of pegged as your number one guy last year didn't even end up being a factor when the biggest games showed up.
Yeah.
And you still did okay, right? You got to have plan B, plan C. You can never have enough pitching. And you certainly can't have enough pitching like a Dylan Cease, who has been, 5 straight seasons he's been either 32 or 33 starts.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Barrios-like numbers.
Yeah, there's no guaranteed health in pitching, but that's as close as you're going to get.
Yeah, they clearly put a lot of stock in that, which makes a lot of sense. And they, I think Ross has told us this before. Like, and they're not alone. Every team should be doing this, and I'm sure every team is. They study angles and arms and torque and what kind of pitches you throw. And listen, this was a targeted attack. It's November. They haven't even hit the winter meetings yet. And they said, we're not playing the long game. We're not waiting until February or March or whatever. We can get them. This is the price we're going to pay for them. And I appreciate that mentality. And I think if you're a Blue Jay fan, you have to love it. Now, I think they need bullpen help. I think they're going to still possibly attack that.
Oh, yeah.
If you can get a bullpen arm, maybe a couple, and you bring back a guy like Bo Bichette, if you're a Blue Jay fan, what else would you ask for? Like if you get, let's say, one bullpen arm of substance. I don't know who that is right now. We'll see. But a guy with decent stuff that you can rely on as a back end of the bullpen guy. Maybe a closer, ideally, that pushes Hoffman out of that position. And you bring back a guy like Bichette, who I think a lot of Blue Jay fans are hoping they bring back. Like, what a turn of events. This time last year, it was nothing but negativity around this team.
Well,
I find it bizarre, the timing of it. Like, Bo Bichette, and Hayes, you've talked about it all the time, like, these drag on, these off seasons in baseball. Like, how this could drag on this long for a player like that you either want or you don't want. Like, I find it shocking.
I think it's more likely they're playing chicken with Bo. Like, I don't think they were willing to do it with Cease, clearly. Like, clearly there was a price that said, you got to pay it if you want him to sign now or we'll wait. And they said, we'll do it. With Bo, there's a question of the market that's out there. Where's he going to play? Which teams are looking for him? So I think there's a chance they're going to allow him to kind of establish that, and I'm not sure it's been established yet.
But what's the Blue Jays' delay with Bo Bichette? Like, wouldn't they just say, man, we love you, you're a big part of this, we want you to get healthy, and we keep on trucking next year, let's do this? Or does that come down to, like, what's the delay?
I would think they put a price tag on him if they want him back. I would think they want him back. I don't know if that's 100% for sure, but I think they'd want him back. But, yeah, I think like, obviously what happened here was the Jays looked at Dylan Cease and said, we think we have to pay you $30 million. And he probably said, yes, you got to pay me $30 million. Like, there's a chance with Bichette, they're saying, we'll pay you $25 million. And he's saying, well, I want 32, or whatever it is. You can use any number you want. Or it could be a term thing. Jays say, we'll give you a 4 or 5 year deal. He said he wants 7, 8, 9, 10. and if they're not comfortable with it, or if they don't feel like that market's out there for them, like clearly the Jays thought this 7 years, 210, someone else was going to pay it or close to it. That's why they were willing to be aggressive.
Yeah.
That's smart. You target the guy, you're comfortable with it, you got him, go for it. Who cares what the Mets or the Dodgers or the Giants or the Yankees were willing to pay?
They didn't want to finish second again?
They didn't want to finish second, so they got him. With Bichette, I would guess it's more of a song and dance because the Jays are probably having a more difficult time figuring out exactly what that market is. And maybe Bichette is as well. Like, players, you were an athlete. I'm sure Bo's looking at it saying, I'm Bo Bichette. I think I should get this. Doesn't mean you're going to get it.
I know.
And
the Vladdy one is the big thing. They've kind of been attached at the hip, and it's like if Vladdy gets – I just remember the mentality of a player saying, well, if that guy's 500, aren't I 300? Like, you have that kind of mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, why am I taking a discount when that guy just got 500? Like, are our numbers that far apart? I don't think so. They're not.
No, during the regular season, they weren't. Bichette was a better hitter than he was.
Yes.
Now, the playoffs obviously were different, but...
And the other thing, too, guys, let's not underestimate here. You have to play a lot of baseball games for the right to become a free agent, right? Like, it's not like if I'm your agent and you just played all those games and put in all that service time and were a good, loyal Blue Jay, I would highly encourage you to see what the market is out there.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that chance every day.
Right.
And
now, what this tells you is that maybe someone will get to Bichette before you get a chance to. Like maybe there's a team out there that will apply the same logic that the Jays did to Dylan Cease to Bo Bichette. We want you. What's it going to cost? We'll pay it.
Right.
And you're risking that with every day that passes. And I think that's the point you're making, though. Like if you really want them, you're risking something every day that passes. Yeah. That Boston calls him and goes, fine, we'll give you that $275 million, $250, whatever it is. I don't know what the number is because everyone's got a different number with Bichette. Everyone's got a different goalpost. Right? Like
it's hard to
what
know.
Positions he playing, how healthy is he, can he run the bases anymore? There's a lot of it's more difficult to apply like a logical number to Bichette.
Wow. That's the problem. Like with Dylan Cease, we all know arms can go poof in a moment in baseball, but
you're paying per start.
You're paying for the track record of health over the past 5 seasons where he's been as clockwork as anybody in the big leagues in terms of showing up to the mound every day ready to go. Bo Bichette, there's some real health red flags there, right? You can't ignore those.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't healthy for the bulk of the playoffs. He wasn't healthy last year for the entire dismal season when you finished last in the American League East, and everybody just assumed he was going to be headed out of town very shortly. So you can't underestimate those things. Those are important, and the advantage the Blue Jays have is they know more about all those injuries and the intricacies of them than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that tells you why they're not immediately stepping up to the plate to pay him everything that he wants.
Well, there is definitely a chance here that the Jays are effectively allowing him to fall on his face in free agency.
Could be.
And that's a harsh way of phrasing it. But the point being is it's not that they don't want him. Doesn't mean they're not going to pay him. That go out and see. Because that happens. That dance happens.
Oh, yeah. Lots of players, they're like, if you think you're worth that, go out there and get it. Or
exactly.
When it comes to a trade, a lot of times the organization will say, "Go, you tell your agent to go out and try to facilitate one," and guess what?
Doesn't
happen.
Yeah.
Well, and we are in an environment, to your point about, Hal Steinbrenner carrying some water for the commissioner. We're in an environment where there's a lot of teams saying we don't want to spend big money right now.
Well, there's a lot of players getting squeezed.
Yeah.
There's a big issue in the Players
Salary cap's coming, and we got salary cap's coming. We're headed for a labor war, and we got to set a tone here that we're not just, we are falling in line with the commissioner's cost certainty and cost controls. We don't want to be seen as somebody overpaying players who may or may not be healthy for the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Well, look at the offseason last year. Like Bregman had to wait a long time, didn't get some great deal, got an option, he opted out. Alonso waited a long time.
That's right.
Like, those are big pieces. Like, Bregman was one of the faces of Houston, won a World Series, great player. They said, go see what you can get. Pete Alonso, the Mets basically played chicken with him all year. Said, go see what you can get. And he couldn't get it. And he eventually came back, and they gave him the deal, and he's opted out, and we'll see what happens now.
He's going to do the same thing again this year.
It's possible. He claims he won't, but I'll believe it when I see it. You're right. I'll believe it when I see it. And that's Boris again, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
But with Bichette, there's a a different approach to bat. Like, arms are just always more valuable in the sport. Outside of, like, the superstar bats, superstar bats, arms are just, they're so necessary, so mandatory to get. And the markets are always going to look a little bit different for them. All right, best bets coming up. Leafs, Caps tomorrow. We'll look ahead to that. And we're tracking Cowboys up 17-14 on the Chiefs. Those Cowboys looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 3.
Get a year of the biggest moments in sports for 30% off with TSN's Black Friday deal.
Unbelievable!
And TSN Plus is also included for extended coverage and exclusive feeds. Offer ends December 1st. Visit tsn.ca/subscribe. FIFA World Cup 2026 Final Draw, December 5th on TSN.
Saturday on TSN 1050. Your Toronto Maple Leafs hit the road to face off against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Coverage starts at 6 p.m.
Johnny Toronto!
Hear it all on TSN 1050. The Leafs live here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Everybody get your roll on. I know shorty and she doesn't.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Ravens laying the points tonight. Going to parlay that with the Bears getting points tomorrow. Okay, I like the Bears to show up. I think it's a massive statement game for them, and I don't like where the Eagles are at right now. I just do not like the way things are going. Turmoil there. They just have these weird up and down seasons.
Yeah.
And right now, the Eagles, I think, are in a pretty dark place, and it's just as big as it gets for the Bears to make a statement. You don't have to win. You just got to cover. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same game parlay is now available for every NFL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18 plus. Physically located in Ontario. It's good to see Joe Burrow will return tonight. It's good to see Austin Matthews return last night. Nyes, Waugh. They need more. You got to get more guys coming back.
Guys, you see Masters had a little update from practice. The power play, of course, nobody has fewer power play goals in the NHL than the Maple Leafs. They're switching something up. They're going Matthews at the point.
Ooh. What do you think of that? Austin running the quarterback of the power play.
To be honest with you, as much as they throw talented players out there, I've lost hope in them trying to figure it out. I think Mark Savard is a brilliant power play guy, but it just seems like they go out there and whatever the formation is, they ultimately end up doing whatever they want to do. And they have these tendencies where they're skating around and they have all this motion and they're going up and down and doing all this stuff, and it results in the same thing, which isn't a whole lot. I thought that power play, wasn't it during the COVID kind of season where they had this outrageous power play where they were setting records?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of all of a sudden fell off the cliff, and it seems like ever since then they just kind of had more downs than ups. So, I don't know. Matthews back there, what's really going to change? Who's going to shoot the puck? I've been saying it, like, just have William Nylander as the trigger man and have him as an option where if you want to take him away, that's fine. But if you do, there's going to be other things open. But they just keep wheeling around and skating in a circle. And it's so dumb to skate towards a guy and then pass it to him. That defeats the power play. I don't understand what they've been doing for the last – since the beginning of the season anyway. It's been bizarre to watch.
Yeah.
Will this work? I don't know. Now you're going to see, like Austin Matthews, he might scare some people up top. Does that open up the middle of the ice and John Tavares? I don't know what it's going to do. It'll be fascinating to watch, though.
Well, what does it say about a shot?
Yeah.
You know, like, are you putting him there to get more opportunities to shoot, or because you don't trust him?
We talked at the beginning of the show how we noticed that his shot doesn't look like it has the mustard of years past, and now he's at the point running the power play. And that's just something they don't have on that team. They tried OEL back there, but what a luxury having a guy with a bomb back there, preferably a right-handed shot that can shoot the puck. It's just not on their roster.
No, it's not. And, you know, you look at it last night, like the OT winner was Matthews was a decoy.
Yeah.
It was a great decoy, by the way.
Well, it was a crafty play by Willie.
Really,
like, he basically passed it because he realized, saw what was going on with the goalie. But that might be what's happening here. Like, set up Matthews has reached a point where he's a decoy in the power play. I hope not. That couldn't possibly work all season. I mean, at some point, Matthews has got to be a focal point of your power play. But this is going to put him in a different position again. You know, like, is he the guy that's going to be driving play? Is he the guy that's just settling in on a blue line? How does this work?
The biggest problem they're having, to my eye, or one of the biggest problems, is zone entries. They're just not getting it in with control.
Exactly. And
they don't have – Marner was really good at that, and, you know, Nylander and Matthews not so much.
Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow, 5 o'clock. All right. Leafs in action tomorrow. We've got Raptors playing this weekend. We've got NFL football. Jays are making splashes. Time to be alive in Toronto. HBO's alive and well.
In turmoil.
It's okay. One loss. We like that. We'd prefer to start that way.
It doesn't define us. It doesn't define us.
Now we go.
Go.
Back
now
to business.
Go. Hashtag now we go back to business.
Yes. Now we go back to business. All right, Fess? Here we go. All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
4 p.m., Partsy.
We'll chat then.
Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Define, we take down giants. With nothing but the stones in our hand, who will earn the right to wear the maple leaf? Montana's Canadian curling trials on TSN. HSBC 7s Dubai on TSN Plus.